There are 7 things you are never supposed to say out loud. Not to your best friend, not to your partner, not even to family. Every time you've bled information you didn't need to share, you handed someone a piece of ammunition and called it honesty. Machiavelli understood something most people never let themselves fully absorb. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Almost no one actually experiences what you really are, and the gap between those 2 things is exactly where your safety lives. The more you reveal, the easier you are to break. People smile at you while quietly cataloging what you've given them, and the wrong piece of information, handed over at the wrong moment, becomes the exact thing used against you later. Quick disclaimer before we start. This is an educational breakdown of historical philosophy and psychology, not professional advice. 7 things. All of them feel harmless in the moment you share them. All of them make you easier to read, easier to predict, easier to manipulate. Stay to the end, because the 7th one is the one almost everyone gets wrong, and it's the one that costs the most. Let's begin. Secret 1. Your next move. You tell people your plans because you expect encouragement. What actually happens, quietly, is erosion. They nod along, and underneath the nodding, doubt starts working on your momentum. Not because they genuinely care about the outcome, but because your ambition, spoken out loud, becomes something they now have to measure themselves against. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of people don't actually want to watch you rise past where they currently stand. Friends turn quietly critical the instant your ambition starts sounding louder than theirs. They'll smile, offer support with their mouths, and simultaneously hope, on some level, that it doesn't fully happen. Let that instinct in them run its course without your input. Real movement happens in silence. You don't need anyone's validation along the way. You need the finished result. Show someone the plan before it's executed, and you've given them a window to interfere. Show them after, once it's already real, and interference is no longer possible. All that's left is reaction. And if you announce it and it doesn't land, you've handed critics something even more useful than doubt: proof. Announcing ambition invites one of 2 responses. People who feel threatened by it try to shrink it down to something less intimidating. People who see themselves in competition with you try to slow it down directly. This is precisely why the people who actually build things tend to explain the least. They let the results speak, rather than narrating the plan in advance. Picture the ordinary version of this. You mention you're starting something new, and immediately hear, "Are you sure that's wise right now? Isn't that risky?" Ask yourself honestly whether that reaction was concern for you or discomfort at the idea of you changing while they stay the same. Doubt often arrives dressed as advice, using the person you used to be as a leash on the person you're becoming. You don't owe an explanation for your own evolution. Machiavelli's remark about the pleasure in outmaneuvering the manipulator wasn't a call to dishonesty. It was a reminder to stay several moves ahead while letting others believe they understand your position. History's most consequential figures rarely announced their next step publicly before taking it. They moved, and the world reacted afterward. Consider reversing the instinct entirely. Build quietly. Let people encounter the outcome only once it's finished, and notice how differently that result is received compared to a plan that was debated and doubted the whole way through. Secret 2. Your weakness. The moment a weakness reaches the wrong ears, it stops being vulnerability and starts being inventory. What feels, in the moment, like honest connection often becomes something quietly stored, filed away for later use, whether the person collecting it fully realizes they're doing it or not. There's an old discipline worth borrowing here. Deal with what hurts internally, without needing it witnessed to make it real. Most people, if honest, don't care as deeply as they perform caring, and the ones who do watch closely are often watching specifically to learn where the pressure point is. What feels like a cry for help can be received by the wrong person as leverage. You bleed in front of them, they perform concern, and later, when it's useful to them, that same wound becomes the exact place they press. This isn't a hypothetical. Think back to a moment someone quoted your own vulnerable words back to you mid-argument, or brought up an old fear as a joke months after you'd trusted them with it. The people who eventually hurt you the most are frequently the ones who once held your confidence. Your weakness is yours to manage, not something owed to an audience. Real support is something built on demonstrated strength, not extracted through visible cracks. In a world full of people eager to perform openness, the person who stays composed, hard to read, becomes the one others quietly respect and can't quite predict. You don't need to broadcast the fracture. You need to become the version of yourself the fracture can't reach anymore. Secret 3. Your income. The more resources someone accumulates, the quieter they typically become about it. Because real, lasting power rarely announces itself. It observes. Start discussing exact numbers, and the room's relationship to you changes almost immediately. You stop being seen as a person and start being read as an amount. Every disclosure of income recalibrates how people around you calculate what they might get from the relationship, consciously or not. Silence, here, isn't about secrecy for its own sake. It's protection. If people don't know precisely what you have, they can't calibrate a strategy around it. You become harder to target because there's no clear number to aim at. The moment the number becomes known, expectation quietly attaches itself to it. Sudden requests, sudden assumptions about what you now owe people, sudden resentment the first time you say no. Picture the familiar version. You mention a strong year, financially. At first, warmth and congratulations. Then, gradually, you must be doing well now, followed by requests dressed as casual asks. Decline once, and the story shifts, not because you changed, but because an unspoken expectation collapsed. This applies across every relationship type, from friendships to family to romantic partnerships. Once a number is known, money quietly becomes part of how the relationship is negotiated, whether anyone says so directly or not. This isn't an argument against ever helping people. It's a caution about disclosure during the specific stage where you're still building. Because during that stage, protecting your own momentum has to come before managing anyone else's expectations of your resources. Secret 4. Your relationship conflicts. There's a familiar pattern. Something painful happens in a relationship, and the instinct is to immediately narrate it to a friend, a group chat, anyone willing to listen. It feels like seeking support. What it actually does is broadcast instability, and instability, once visible, rarely gets met with genuine concern. More often, it gets watched. The relationship is a private arena. The details of what happens inside it aren't owed to anyone standing outside of it, and the uncomfortable truth is that most of the people listening don't actually carry real concern for the outcome. Once conflict becomes public, respect tends to erode with it. What was a private struggle becomes, in other people's minds, a storyline, something to reference later, something that quietly recolors how capable and composed you're perceived to be, in contexts that have nothing to do with the relationship itself. This extends beyond casual friendships. In professional settings, visible personal chaos tends to raise quiet, unspoken questions about focus and reliability, even when the two things are genuinely unrelated. What gets protected tends to be respected. What gets paraded tends to get consumed, then dismissed. None of this means suffering through difficulty in complete isolation. It means being deliberate about who actually hears it, a therapist, a mentor, someone equipped to help, rather than simply entertained by the disclosure. The rule is simple: whatever bleeds shouldn't be posted. Whatever hurts shouldn't be paraded. What's sacred stays protected, because what's exposed emotionally tends to eventually be used strategically, often not by an enemy, but by an audience that was never as invested in your well-being as their concerned expressions suggested. Secret 5. Your family problems. Sharing family dysfunction feels, in the moment, like honesty, like it might finally make people understand you more fully. What it usually produces instead is quiet judgment dressed as sympathy. Most people, confronted with someone else's family chaos, don't actually absorb it with the care it deserves. They consume it. It becomes a story, and a story involving pain is, uncomfortably, one of the more engaging kinds. Once that story is shared, it tends to get projected directly onto you. People stop separating you from the dysfunction you described and start quietly explaining your behavior through it. Overshared trauma rarely produces the closeness it's seeking. It tends to produce something closer to pity, and pity is corrosive to respect. A person who's pitied isn't usually followed or trusted with responsibility or seen as someone to build alongside, because on some subconscious level, the foundation now looks unstable to the people making that judgment, whether or not it's actually true. Picture the familiar scenario. A casual work conversation drifts into something more personal, and a real family struggle slips out. The listener nods sympathetically. Later, when a high-stakes opportunity comes up, that same person quietly hesitates to hand it to you, not out of malice, but because an unconscious doubt about your stability has already been planted. The alternative isn't suppression forever. It's sequencing. Process what needs processing privately, or with someone equipped to actually help. Let the people around you encounter your strength directly, rather than encountering your history first and filtering everything else through it. Your story belongs to you. It was never meant to be handed out as casual conversation to people who haven't earned the weight of it. Secret 6. Your long-term goals. This isn't about small plans. This is about the real vision, the version of your life that doesn't exist yet, the one still being built quietly behind the scenes. There's a specific reason so many people with genuinely big dreams never arrive at them. The dream gets spent in conversation before it's ever built in reality. Share the vision, receive enthusiasm, and something strange happens neurologically. The brain registers a partial sense of accomplishment from the applause alone, long before any actual work has been done. The pressure that would have driven real execution quietly deflates because it already got a small, satisfying release. There's also a more uncomfortable social dynamic at play. A lot of people are comfortable with your growth only up to the point where it starts to reflect uncomfortably on their own stalled ambitions. Modest, plausible progress gets celebrated. A 5-year vision that sounds genuinely audacious gets quietly mocked, often by people who quietly gave up on their own versions of it years earlier. Keeping a long-term vision private creates something valuable: mystery, and mystery holds attention in a way explanation never can. Let the goal remain entirely internal until there's something real to point to. Then let the result do the announcing, forcing people to ask how, rather than watching them pick apart a plan that was never finished being built in the first place. Secret 7. Your deepest regrets. This is the one most people get wrong, because confession feels, in the moment, like healing. Share your biggest regret with someone who hasn't fully earned that level of trust, and you're not necessarily building intimacy. You're often handing over a very specific, very durable form of leverage. It doesn't need to be used immediately. It waits for the moment you succeed more than expected, or set a boundary that wasn't convenient for them, and then it resurfaces, reframed as a question about whether you've actually changed at all. Regret, once shared carelessly, tends to invite something that looks like sympathy, but functions like a demotion. People stop responding to who you currently are and start quietly measuring you against who you used to be. That's a profoundly unstable foundation to build any relationship on, because it means your progress is permanently competing with your past for how you're perceived. The instinct to confess is usually less about the other person and more about wanting the weight to feel lighter, wanting someone to say some version of, "I understand." That craving is human. It's also, uncomfortably, a form of dependency. Needing someone else to help carry something you're fully capable of carrying and transforming on your own. Real change doesn't require narrating the before and after to everyone who asks. It requires letting the current version of yourself be undeniable enough that the past becomes irrelevant on its own, without needing to be explained away. Keep the regret. Let it inform discipline instead of conversation. Bury it somewhere it can't be repeated back to you at the exact moment you can least afford it. Most people never become genuinely difficult to read, not because they lack the capacity, but because they overshare, early and often, until there's nothing left to protect. Every plan announced too soon, every wound displayed for sympathy, every long-term vision debated into smaller shape by people who never intended to help build it. Reverse that pattern and something changes. Build quietly, heal privately. Let the result speak first, and let explanation become optional rather than automatic. The world doesn't actually respect a warning shot. It respects precision it never saw coming. If this named something you've been doing without realizing it, tell me in the comments which of the 7 hit hardest. And if you want the next layer of this, subscribe, because what we're covering next builds directly on everything in this video. I'll see you in the next one.